Hi everyone and welcome back to my kind of a podcast. We are today on episode 14 and I do not believe I made any reference to the fact that my last video was actually titled after an article that I read on the Huffington Post. The title being How the Natural Hair Movement Has Failed Black Women. And I know I usually end my videos saying that we're going to talk about something completely different next time, but today I felt like I wanted to kind of do a follow-up kind of video because I think there is a lot more that I would like to discuss. And so we are going to talk about this article and another one that I found in the Chicago Sun-Post and discuss a little more in depth about my feelings about the natural hair movement and black natural hair in general. We are going to start with this Huffington Post article, which I'm going to link in the description of the video below. I will just read parts of it and I will give you some of my impressions and feelings about it. The article starts like this. When the natural hair movement swept America a decade ago, it was supposed to encourage black women to love their hair in its natural state with the help of products and regimens specific to and best for black hair. But by glamorizing looser curls and prioritizing techniques and products to create defined curls, the movement focuses less on loving textured hair and more on manipulating those kinks into curls. So I did mention last time that I resisted doing locks into my hair because to me it felt like kind of failing my hair and as if the locks were kind of a last resort, the only thing that I would be able to do with the kind of texture that I had naturally. And that is kind of how I still feel in a way, even though I'm very happy about my locks that I've had for over 10 years now. But I also am not very happy about the fact that even now, I do not feel comfortable with the way my hair looks in its natural state, and the fact that I wasn't happy with the hair that I had. I don't know that I would be ever happy with it, if I'm honest, because this kind of hair is not the one that is being promoted, is not the one that gets representation in the natural hair movement or in black representation in general. And I also feel like even when I have accepted the fact that my hair will never be curly, I will never have loose curls in my hair, I kind of don't know that I will ever be able to accept the texture that I have and be happy with it. Another extract from the article. Lati Horton, a 22-year-old from Kansas City, Missouri, chopped off her relaxed hair because she thought her natural kinks looked cute, but quickly discovered the public didn't agree. When out with her sisters who have noticeably looser textures, people respond to her look less favorably. You can tell they prefer one hair texture over the other, Horton told HuffPost. The one with wavy hair, she'll get better responses about her hairstyles than I will if I wear it natural. This gives Horton complicated feelings about her own hair, which she wears in what she calls acceptable styles, like stretching out her strands with braid outs and twist outs. So this is definitely something that I resonate with because I remember anyway, at the time when I was part of the natural hair movement, if we want to call it that, and I was on those forums and stuff, there were so many posts and discussions about how to retain your length, how to stretch your hair, how to avoid shrinkage, etc. And after a while, I just realized this, what we call shrinkage and all of that, is nothing other than the actual texture of the hair. That's what the hair does. It is not shrinking as much as that's just the way it is. And we kind of internalize the fact that if the hair is short, then we have to do something about it because it should not be short. But that's the way it does. That's the way it behaves naturally, and that's your natural hair, and it's nothing wrong with it being short. But because I suppose it is a kind of call to the European standards of beauty, the Rapunzel syndrome, that girls should have long hair. And so if you have short hair naturally, or hair that appears shorter than it actually is naturally, it's almost as if you are losing part of your femininity. I remember when I did have short hair, I did have a tendency to wear really big earrings and jewelry and things like that, which is not actually me. I'm not the kind of person who likes to wear the big dangling things or the big massive hoops and things. But I felt that, and especially because people kept mistaking me for a man, that I had to do it. Like, I had to do the whole jewelry and accessories thing, because with my short hair I wasn't really a girl, kind of. And so that is something that I can attest for, having experienced it myself, that the way people responded to my hair, it wasn't always positive. I have people in my family who have different hair texture, different types of hair, very much longer hair than I did. And I remember one time my aunt was doing my hair and her daughter's hair, and she did our hair in the exact same style. So it was a few braids here and there, and and on my cousin, the hair would just go down like that and stay there. For me, my hair would just stick on end and in all directions, and it looked silly. I looked a complete idiot, and I felt bad because my hair wasn't doing what my cousin's hair was doing. And after a while, I realized, like many years later, because sadly this is a memory that kind of haunted me for a very long time, that I realized that nothing was wrong with my hair, as much as it was done in a way that wasn't appropriate for the texture that my hair is. And that is the reason why my mother never did my hair like that, because it looked stupid. But at the time, being a child, I just felt like, oh my God, I'm just ugly. I'm just, something is wrong with me. Something is wrong with my hair, and I need to do something about it. So that's why I wanted to get the relaxer, which didn't fix my problem at all. But I kind of ingested the idea that my hair was bad and I needed to do something. Let's go back to the article now. Shanique Adams, a 34-year-old from Newark, New Jersey, also noticed that most mainstream attention to natural hair focuses on loose curls. Adams told HuffPost, "You're not really seeing people with hair that we would consider nappy." When asked if she would be comfortable wearing her kinky hair out in an afro, Adams, who typically sports afro puffs and protective styles like weaves, said she is not there yet. "If I stepped out and there was one drop of moisture, it would be a complete disaster of shrinkage." We are back with the idea that the natural state of your hair is not good. why is it a complete disaster of shrinkage? It's just, you just need to understand that this is what your hair looks like, and it is not a disaster, it's just the state of it. Like, there is nothing of a disaster about it. We'll have to find ways to deal with this kind of way of thinking. And the second article that I wanted to discuss, which is the reason for the title of this video, is this article from the Chicago Sun-Times, titled, "If the mayor says she needed to get her hair done, she needed to get her hair done." And this is regarding Lori Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago, who went out in middle of the pandemic while everybody is in lockdown to get a haircut, and how this is actually a defensible thing to do. And I will explain to you why this is absolutely not true. This article looks more like a think piece than an actual article, because it is not based on any kind of anything other than personal opinions. So it is okay for me to say that this is a stupid opinion to have, because this is my opinion about this opinion. This is a really stupid thing to think and to say out loud and put out in the internet, on the internet, for everybody to see. Here is the part of the article that annoyed me the most. "I wanted to throw my shoe at the TV screen when reporters questioned the mayor about her do during Monday's press briefing. The question was not only asked but also dwelled upon. As I cringed as I watched the mayor defend fussing with her hair. I am the public face of this city," she said, looking somewhat taken aback. "I am on national media and I am out in the public eye." The mayor also pointed out that the woman who cut her hair wore gloves and a mask. "I am practicing what I'm preaching," she says. "But I couldn't help but wonder if she had been a white male instead of a black gay woman, would the subject of a haircut even come up at a time when death is knocking on our doors?" So first of all, I do not know Lori Lightfoot. I did not know she was a lesbian before reading this article, and I thought this was a stupid thing to do. If she had been a white male, I would still have thought this is a stupid thing to do. They tell you to stay home, and they didn't say stay home but go out and wear gloves and a mask if you have to. They said stay home. And there is a reason why they said that. It's because when you leave the house, you get more chances of being in contact with the virus, bringing it home with you, or giving it to somebody you meet along the way. It is not about, I don't even know why I'm explaining that. It's pretty clear, and anybody with half a brain is able to understand that this is not a race issue. It's not a sexuality issue. Nobody gives a damn what color or sexual orientation the mayor of Chicago is. Getting your hair cut in the middle of a pandemic is not essential, and it does not matter how many people are looking at you and in the public eye and what. It does not matter. Now is not the time to be worrying about the state of your hair. Now is not the time to be worrying about how beautiful you look. It is not the thing that matters at the moment. There was another part in this article where it says, "I don't know what all those talking heads that advise us to stay home are doing about their beards, mustaches, and manes, and I don't care. Whatever they are doing, they are not on camera looking unkempt." Looking unkempt. What does that even mean, looking unkempt? Couldn't whoever just run a comb in through their hair and look fine? Did the mayor need to go on to get her hair cut, not to look unkempt? What the hell? Okay, so this idea that if you are a black person and your hair is not absolutely pristine and perfect, you look unkempt. Can we get rid of that completely? Like, can we leave that idea back in 2016 or something? Because that's not okay. It is not okay to have this kind of mentality. It is not okay. So a little while ago, my son was growing up and I was having a hard time finding a hairdresser to cut his hair to my satisfaction, because nobody knew how to cut afro hair around where I lived. I found this Turkish barber who kind of knew how to do it, and then he moved and I didn't find anyone else who could take over from him. And so I just let his hair grow. I just left it to grow. And people kept telling me that my son looked like a little savage child and that I needed to do something about his hair. And that sentence that a lot of black people always say, you couldn't put a comb through that hair. And the fact is, I don't think we should be putting combs through our hair anyway. I do not think being able to put a comb through your hair should be the measure of anything in regards to whatever is on top of your head. I completely gave up on the usage of a comb for myself long before I started the locks. I only actually really used a comb to do sections, and that's it. I don't think it is a requirement for combs to go through our hair. And that's what I'm teaching my children now, that, combs exist, of course, but in the same way that I do not expect you to run 100-meter under 10 seconds because Usain Bolt can do it, I do not expect you to run a comb through your hair because Chad can do it, The conclusion of my, reflection about this whole topic is that I am not past that aversion for my hair texture. I am not ready to accept my hair fully for what it is. I want to. I absolutely want to, but mentally I am not there yet. And it's particularly because I know that the reaction I'm going to get from people about my hair is not always going to be a positive one, and I do not feel ready to face that. So for the time being, I'll continue growing my locks. I'm going to continue looking after my hair. I'm going to continue looking after my children's hair, and but I am also not going to be participating in the natural hair movement that exists, because I do not want to be pulled into this mentality. So what I have decided anyway for myself is I will do what my hair can do. I will use the products that work for me. And if somebody asks me and if somebody has questions, I will answer them. If somebody needs help or needs advice about their own hair, I can try and help. But I do not intend to be an advocate for the movement or for natural hair in general, because I don't think we are at a point where it really make sense or it will be 100% acceptable, whatever it is. So this is what I wanted to discuss today. I do have more to say about the subject of natural hair. I probably will not get back to that topic as soon as next video anyway, but I would love to hear what you think, what you have to say on the topic, whether you have natural hair yourself or consider it. It's a bit like what I said before. I do not like to talk about racism with people of a different ethnic background as my own. And I think texturism is kind of a similar topic to me. I do not really like to talk about that with people who don't know the struggle, you know. Anyway, thank you for spending a little time with me today. I'm very hopeful that this video will be on early enough, and that I will be back very soon and we can have a little conversation. See you soon. Bye.